Can you see if is the microphone like covering too much of her face in the camera?
It's okay. I don't like my face, so.
The other question is,
But
do my boobs look nice?
Yeah,
in the
they always
camera?
look nice.
But does it cover her chin? You want it to cover your chins, just not your lips.
You can't see my boobs.
I can see well, because of the laptop.
I have like 30 chins.
Oh,
so.
you want me to move the laptop?
Now you can see your boobs.
Thanks.
A little
I'm
treat
trying
to
to
the
get-
30%.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more straight guys watching the show, okay?
How many of them are? I think we got
Or
up like to
lesbians.
50, right?
More lesbians.
Yeah, I think. Well, it was like 70 something for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Just for a little
That's
bit.
it.
They
Just
just
for a
fall.
I don't know. I haven't checked since
They
that
fall
one
out.
time.
I'm like, what are they watching?
It's not me.
There's somebody for everybody, Kat.
Yeah,
Too much chubby chasers out there.
there are.
Well, look at my baby Coomtons. I was chubby, he wasn't, and I made him chubby.
Turn them to the dark side.
You're like, too many people think you're hot. Eat this.
Okay, we're still recording, right?
Yeah. It was,
Fucked up.
Are we ready to start?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Go for it.
Shoot it.
Hello, and welcome to another grooming podcast. I'm Kat Graney.
I'm Nathan Austin.
I'm Kathleen Austin.
And I'm Juan Rivera.
First of all, let's address Katie's beautiful news hair.
Oh, thank you.
But what
Thank
about
you.
my new hair? I got a haircut too.
Yep.
Juan got his hair done
Thank you
too,
so
looking so
much.
stylish
I
and
mean-
handsome.
Thank you.
You said they came to your house, right?
Yeah. So our barber, Danny, she's one of our clients, and she comes to our house. So when she comes over, she does our hair and we do her dog's hair.
Oh,
Nice.
So
smart.
it's wonderful. Hi,
Smart.
Danny.
Yeah.
She watches and listens.
And
I just got my hair done too.
Yeah.
Katie did it.
He has a really good hairstylist. No, I'm just kidding. It's just me.
She just hits the sides with the 7F.
Yep.
Do you like part it and stuff before you do it, or you just like hold it up?
I hold it. I like have to like hold it and like push it off to the side and like
You know, she just holds the hair out of the way
yeah.
so she could work better at it. You know what I mean?
You're talking about this stuff still?
Yeah.
You're talking
side.
My hair.
Okay.
No,
so-
yeah, she just holds it over and then gets in there. You know,
Yeah.
Do you ever
like,
fuck up and you just have to go a little higher each time? You're like,
don't.
well,
You bet.
No,
If
It's gonna be a mohawk.
wait, no,
No, no,
tell
no.
me later. Tell me later.
no. So usually I go backwards up and then I leave just like the very edges and then I'll hold the hair and I'll go down just the tiniest bit right there. So no, that's never happened.
Is that like a 5 reverse?
It's a 7.
it's a 7.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got that thick hair.
That
Yeah.
thick.
And then it like
got
it
terrier
sticks in
hair.
everything
Schnauzer.
too.
Yeah, he's got terrier hair.
It
It's
sticks
the
in
worst.
everything. Every time she's done cutting it, I just get up and go into the shower and I leave her with the problem of my hair everywhere.
Yeah, I have to sweep it
I could
out.
never do Nathan's hair because I get dog hair splinters so bad that I would get Nathan
He
hair splinters.
gives the worst splinters I have ever had. I've never
Well,
had
Asian
splinters
hair is
like
the
him.
best hair. It's nice and thick. You can do
Yes.
whatever you want with
Well,
it.
like this whole mullet is like, I feel like, I mean, he's been growing it out for like 8 months, maybe. I'm like, dude, it's gonna be longer than mine in
Flick
no
it.
time.
Flick it. Pretend you're an Herbal Essence commercial.
Wait.
I'm still getting used to my
Beautiful.
hair. I got it done like 2 days ago, and they cut my bangs shorter than I'm used to. So every time I look at myself, I'm like, who is that? And it's bright, and I've had that really light purple. So I'm like, what the heck, you know?
Have you seen that TikTok where they cut the bangs when the girl's like with their eyebrows up?
Yes.
And then she like lowers it and the bangs are like up here.
Oh no.
See, I can't. I have to go to a professional. I am like too scared. Number one, I have to bleach my hair to get this color, and I'm too scared to bleach it and like fuck it up because you see all those horror videos of people bleaching their own hair and it all like falling out. I would not look good with short hair. And my bangs, I'm way too particular. So
Bleaching your hair, it kind of like Katie bleached my hair and I've dyed my hair pink for a while, and it sucks.
Gay?
And when you stick your hands in it, like it feels just different.
he
you
did
know?
not know it
I hated
changed the texture of your hair. So then like afterwards,
hated
it's
it.
all like dry and like crispy. And he was like, what is this? And I was like, yeah, well, you know.
Do you stick to brown hair?
I have experimented a lot, and the thing
She's
is,
experimented, guys.
yeah, I do. But the thing is, I'm incredibly cheap. So Katie has done my hair multiple times.
Are you the salon
She's my
barber?
salon.
I'm the
stylist?
hairdresser. I do everyone.
Yep, she did it rainbow once, but we didn't do the segments big enough. and
Yes.
so it just kind of got muddled.
Yeah.
But I usually do it myself, but right now I'm getting really gray. So I might just do brown for now. But, you know.
Ronnie won't let me dye my gray.
Well, you know, you got that touch of gray.
It's the touch of gray.
It's
You lucky
like just
dog.
for men.
Silver
the
daddy.
touch
Yeah.
of gray. For women, it's not cool.
You know,
You
though-
got to be solid gray or.
If you go all the
shit.
way gray, like gray fox,
Oh,
it's
I
kinda, it's hot.
love gray hair. But, I asked my hairdresser because I can never tell what my roots look like. I was like, do I even have gray in there? Or because my mom, I feel like prematurely grayed. And she was like, I don't see anything in here. And I was like, yeah, she's still got it.
My like face hair is turning gray and it's freaking me out.
Yeah, Nathan's
Like
all
I wake
weirded
up
out.
and my mustache, like I barely have any mustache hair. Or in the beginning, I have like 100, and 3 of them are gray now. I'm like, oh my god, that's like 3%.
Oh my God.
What the?
To be fair, I have found a couple of white hairs. They're just not on my head.
No.
Yeah, well,
On the nipples.
Yes. Dog hair. No. No.
I know this is stupid, but I didn't realize that women grow hair on their nipples too. I mean, I don't know if it's a common thing with all women grow hair on their nipples.
Oh, yeah.
but-
I
okay,
think
I
it's
will say though,
some women, yes. I
I've
don't.
never seen
do.
a woman's pair of nipples with hair on it.
okay.
Cat, after this episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll have to show you. I grow hair on my nipples.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
And after I had my daughter, my hormones changed, and that's when
Yeah.
it started happening. I started growing facial hair, but I also suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome. So that creates a lot of excess hair in places you don't normally get
So
hair.
I don't know if it's an Asian thing, but I basically have no hair on my body except my nipples.
It's true.
Next time we're at a show like Super Zoo and we're at the pool party, if you want to ask, I'll show them to you, whatever. They're just like oddly hairy, and the rest of me isn't.
They're not like very hairy, but it's just like a couple of little hairs
And
around
they're
your
extra
nipple.
long.
That's it. Yeah.
You should gel them out.
It's like
so it looks like a sun, and you like make little rays.
I don't think there's enough
My
for
nipple-
us.
Or make waves, like.
My nipple hairs are stuck in the anagen phase, So they're just like that's the right one, right? The growth phase.
yeah, the
So they just keep growing and growing.
Just for the record, I will not be showing you my nipples at the party.
Just Nathan.
Just Nathan.
Although I've seen your nipples a lot. I've never noticed. so.
I like pluck them out. Normally, it's when I say hairy, I mean like 2 or 3 hairs.
You know what, though?
There's not a lot.
Free the nipple.
Free the nipple. Who
Maybe I mean
cares?
if you don't want to, don't. But
I
I'm
don't want to
for
be kicked
freeing
out.
the nipple.
True.
Yeah.
We don't want to be kicked out of anywhere.
No.
If she goes, we all go.
Like I said, I like to lurk in the shadows, and that's not a shadow lurking activity.
Well, that's why you're in the shadows to like have your nipples out, but no one can see them.
But then you can see the hair.
You're like they're so hairy and sweaty. I gotta fan them up.
Where's the shadow?
Okay, like it's 3 hairs, guys, and I pluck them out on a regular.
That's less than mine, so right on.
So at the end of this episode, we're gonna go into some deep questions.
Oh yeah,
get
nice.
deep.
Let's get deep.
That's my favorite part.
So stay tuned for that.
That's what she said.
Okay.
So what are we talking about today
Anyway.
besides nipples?
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about what are the next steps when you want to continue your education towards your career grooming. So why do we want to keep learning?
Oh, because you don't want to suck,
Well, I think it's important to keep learning because there's always new information coming out. So as much as we try to stay like as educated as possible, a lot of times, like similar to like for a long time, they were like, only do grain-free, right? Like suddenly it was like, all grain-free dog food. And then they were like, oh no, new studies came out. Don't do grain-free.
It kills your dogs.
Yeah. And
now
so,
It's heart disease.
yeah, now they say it leads to other things. So now but it's like certain grains now, right? They're like, don't do every grain, but like these grains are good grains, whatever.
Well, I
So-
heard too the raw food now, right? Some people are like raw's not good for your dogs.
Some people say that. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, you can find yes, pros and cons for both sides. But my main point is they're always finding new information, and so it's good to stay current because you want to make sure you're being as safe as possible. You're using the newest techniques and styles, and you're like keeping up with trends. And all of that stuff is relevant to your everyday dog grooming.
Yeah, there's always new shampoos and always new sprays and stuff. I actually really want to try that avocado spray. Kind of looks cool.
From
Oh, Botanica. I want to try that too.
I really
It's always
like-
sold out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's
It's like how you supposed to use a scissor spray on every dog. Like I scissor every dog, so
Yeah.
Well, I really like their volume up shampoo for my Bichons. Those are the puppies.
Yeah, that's
and I
the
like
thing,
the
though.
smells too.
There's always new stuff coming out.
Always, yeah. Well, and there's trends too. I feel like,
Right.
you know, this is popular now, but next week it'll be different.
Right. Well, and it's, I mean, I would say for pet grooms, there's trends, but then there's also trends within the show community as well.
Yeah.
Like we've mentioned on previous episodes, they've changed the Bichon head several times.
Yeah.
So just being able to like stay up to date in the industry on like what's happening is important.
Yeah, for me, it's about staying ahead of the curve, staying ahead of the average person, and always trying to do my best.
I worked for somebody after I moved to Elk Grove. I wanted to, because I bought the house, I was like, well, maybe I don't need to open a salon. Maybe I can just work somewhere and be happy. So I worked somewhere, and the owner has been grooming since they were 15.
Wow.
But they learned from somebody that was like in their they were older, probably like 60s. And just what she learned is just what she knows. And she's never gone to any continuing education or anything. So when I came with my like snap combs and like my curved scissors and thinners and stuff, she was like, whoa, you have so much stuff. I was like, you don't have thinners
Yeah.
or like
Oh my
guard comb? Like it was
gosh.
just wild to me that it's like if you don't go and seek new information, you're just kind of just stuck
Yeah.
with what you learned. That's
I
the
guess I
same
never
thing.
Stagnant.
thought of it being that bad.
Oh yeah, it was wild. And then I was like, oh, I go to Pasadena and Tacoma. Like, come with me, and we can go. And then like, oh well, what else am I going to learn? I've been grooming for 20 years. It's like,
A lot,
all right then,
a lot.
okay.
Well,
Did they go?
No, they
I
did not.
hate
And
that mentality.
Well, I stopped working there after like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should open a salon again. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I will.
Well, there's people who live in that box too. They're
Yeah.
like, well, I'm good enough. You know,
I've been grooming for 20 years. So
I've been
I'm-
grooming 20 years, and I'm definitely not at
Oh yeah. I mean,
what I could be.
I think all of us are kind of in that same thought process. Like even though we're all master certified and some of us even double, we're still like working on the next one. We're still like, what more can I learn? I still have tons to learn. The more I learn, the more I realize how little I actually know.
Well, I always think if this is a career path you're taking, you should dedicate yourself fully to it. I mean, to whatever career you're doing. If you're being a veterinarian, keep always learning the new stuff. If you're whatever path you want to take, you should always. That's my belief. You should just always continue to grow in that field. And the only way to do it with grooming is continued education. You know, you can only learn so much on your own and doing grooming dogs.
Well, I think I've heard the saying, right, where somebody says like, well, if you've been grooming for X amount of years, right? Have you been grooming for 20 years as a 1-year groomer, or have you grown,
Yeah.
right? Because like you could have groomed 20 years, but if you never learned anything new, you're still grooming at a 1-year
Yeah.
level. And that really stuck with me. I was like, oh God, no.
I feel like we should find old pictures that we've done and bring them on here and show
Oh my
people.
gosh. I think Nathan posted one recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
an old one.
One of the
It was
posts
not
I
the
made that
worst.
got like it, but it got the most like interaction than any one of my posts ever, and it was a schnauzer. But I'm like cheesing it so hard with this picture of with this schnauzer because I'm so happy with it, and it looked like shit.
And you know, though,
But I was glowing
I've
because
seen
I was, you know,
worse. We
yeah.
have seen worse because it wasn't even hulaed, so it wasn't even that bad.
So what
No.
you're saying is you shouldn't be proud of yourself.
No, you should because at that moment I was brand new.
Yeah.
And I didn't do a completely terrible job. Like
No.
in comparable to myself now, it looked like shit. But you know, if I see someone else show a haircut like that, I'm like, wow, they're trying their best. You know, we're working towards it.
Yeah.
When I look at people's stuff online, I try and not judge them because they're on their own path, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know where they are on it. I mean, I've been grooming for 16 years, but it's only the last like 6 years so for 10 years I was doing who knows
You were
what.
doing the 1-year track.
I was on the 1-year groomer plan for 10 years. Yeah.
I agree with you there because that's something I think about now that we compete because like sometimes I see people out there competing. I'm like, holy crap, they're so good. And they're like, I've been grooming for 4 years and I've been competing for 4 years. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm so far behind everybody. But then I have to remind myself we're all on our own journey and we all
Yep.
have different paths and I'm still doing good and I'm working hard. But I still wish I had found it younger.
Yes.
You know, like I definitely wish I had started master certifying and getting into competing and showing way younger because I feel like I missed out on so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't like think like that though, you know? It's like wherever you
do,
start,
though.
you start.
I know,
but I
but
think
I
some people
still-
use that as a reason why not to start.
Yeah.
No.
because they're like,
yeah.
I'm so far behind. What's the point? It's always,
Well, I'm gonna
always
still
good.
keep
It's
trying.
never too late.
No, it's never too late. I'm still gonna keep trying, but I just wish I had started younger. So
Yeah.
everybody who's like thinking about it and maybe they're like, I don't know, or I'm not good enough or whatever, like, oh, just give me a couple more years grooming. Just get into it. Just get started.
Well,
Just do it, because I really wish I hadn't wasted the time.
we all have to start somewhere too, and every time you're in the ring, you're getting the opportunity to grow on that haircut, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot to learn still, and even when I get to open, I don't think I'm gonna get placements, but I want to perfect my haircut.
Right, yeah.
So I'm gonna work.
Recently at a show, Suzeko goes, "Oh, you're gonna be your stuff is so great. You're gonna be one of the best." And I look at her and I'm like, in my mind, I don't say this in real life because it would have been rude, but in my mind, I say, at the time I'm like, I'm 36. Like it's now or never, lady. No, you know what I mean? Like what the hell? But yeah, you know what I mean. But you just got to apply yourself. I'm doing pretty good in the competition world, and I'm in my mid 30s, and that's when I started. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, this year is your third year competing, or the beginning of your third full year. Yeah. And so it is
impressive seeing the young people in their early 20s coming in, doing good trims and stuff, you know?
I know.
It's really
I'm
impressive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a little jealous. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
damn, man, I wish I had
Oh, yeah.
started.
And then there we are going to bed at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're so tired. We're tired. Well, so I think, on top of everything else we talked about, right? Like continued education helps you in a lot of different ways. One of which is becoming faster. Not that, because I do think that, quality is more important than quantity, but I do think that a lot of the things you learn help you become faster and just better at what you do. Like one of our apprentices, Jeanette, she has a wire fox terrier puppy, right? So she's learning hand stripping. We're hoping to get her into like showing. She's going to start competing soon. And, so in the beginning, she was stripping her every day and like working her coat, which was great because she was learning a lot. And then we were like, okay, well, now that we're going to start competing, I want you to stop stripping her every day. And now I want you to strip her once a week. And you're going to set yourself a timer for 2 hours, because that's what competitions are, right? Yeah. And like, we're going to chalk her legs and cholesterol them and do like the whole 9. And you'll do the whole thing, and then we'll go over it afterwards. And if you're not done in the 2 hours, that's totally fine. When you're done, you can like re-go over her and take as long as you want. But like, let's see what you can get done in the 2 hours. Obviously, it's great because it's her own dog, so it's not like if she messes up, it's a big deal or anything. But just that like weekly practice is so beneficial to see what she can get done in 2 hours.
And she's 21 and she's like doing a really good job.
She's doing a great job. And we're
I'm really
learning,
jealous.
We're learning too, because like while I do know a fair amount about the wire fox terrier, I don't know all the intricacies of that stripping for like show. So it's nice because we're learning too as we're helping her. And so I'm really enjoying it.
She's getting to the point where we've taught her pretty good trim on her wire. But now it's getting to the point where she needs somebody that is perfected it, that can really give her the ins and outs of it.
Right. But then that's cool for us, because then we're like, oh, well, why don't we go for a private lesson together with this person? So then we're like, oh, good. We'll get lessons too. But see, then that's, we could just be like, oh, here, go take a private lesson with this person. But we're like, oh, yeah, we'll come with you because we want to learn. Yeah. So, like, I want to learn this too.
I was just reading this, and another, like, good reason for...
I was just reading my note card right here.
That someone else wrote for him.
That cat wrote for me.
But
this is what Kat wants me to say.
This guy with his card. Robot
you guys are making
Nathan.
me brain fart super bad. Okay, a lot of
Reboot.
people complain like, oh, I don't get no purebred dogs, right? Well, if you don't know how to groom them properly and you don't put that out there that you know how to groom them properly, you're not going to get them, right?
Right, absolutely.
Not in the quantity you want. So if you want purebred dogs, like if you want to get a bunch of Bashans in your shop, learn how to groom Bashans. Start posting pictures of Bashans, but you got to do continued education for that.
I do. Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. Actually, that wasn't written on my note card, so
He made that up, so
That's
it's not
right.
right.
that's not even on the note card. Oh my god!
So he brain farted
No, it was
into a
like
new
why
thought.
it was why keep learning.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
oh, he
well,
answered the question. He didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I do agree because I think that's something that we hear a lot. Where Nathan will post like a video of like how to do this on this purebred dog, and then people are like, I never get that breed in. I'm so jealous. Like we never get any purebred dogs. All we get is doodles. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of doodles, a lot of doodles. But I do think the more that you put it out there, because we are constantly like, anytime we go to continued education, we're like, we're going to this seminar and we'll post pictures like, look, we learned this today. We learned this today. We learned that today.
Yep.
And then when we do get that dog in, you know, like for example, a Bashan, right? Because like Kat shows the Bashans, and then she started getting more Bashan cuts, like, and she's getting more and more and more and more. And so she's doing like a lot of Bashan cuts, a lot of show Bashan cuts, and it's really great because it's good practice for her. But that didn't just like happen, right? Like, because before that, Nathan had a few Bashan cuts, and there was like a couple here and there, but we didn't have like a ton. But the more we posted about it, and she posted about it, like, I do Bashans, I know how to do show Bashans. Look
Or
at
they
this
see her at
Bashan,
the
look
show.
at that, yeah, and dog shows and grooming competitions, and she's posting about it, and the salon's posting about it, and et cetera, et cetera. And then they just start coming. And then when one comes, they have a friend inevitably with a Bashan. And then they go, this person knows how to do the right haircut. You're not going to go to her and get a bad job because she knows what to do. And
Yeah, we post,
she does.
We post tons of dogs on our on my account and Katie's account. We generally just post
And Kat.
mainly like purebred dogs.
I posted one.
But a lot of times some people go, oh, you got so many purebred dogs. Half of it is it's a facade. We just post them only. We only post the purebred dogs, and
We post the things that we're trying to get back in.
Well, I
Yes.
posted a doodle the other day.
I know
Yeah.
you did.
Because
But you did a very cute job, the mobile.
I do like
Actually, I
the
think
doodles. I think they're
is
very
she
cute,
under a
little,
doodle?
well-behaved. Usually little,
I think so.
sometimes little well-behaved dogs. But I remember when I first started grooming Carries, I would post the same Carry every time, but it looked different. It looked like a different Carry because my trim was changing so much. You know, it was like evolving, getting better and better. And people are like, oh, how do you get so many carries? It's just one Carry I take a picture of every time it's in.
Every month, yeah,
Yeah.
but it works though.
Now I have a handful of carries that come in. I got, so you just got to keep putting it out there.
But I also think the more you put it out there, especially if you're going to shows and stuff, breeders see that. Then they
Absolutely.
sell a puppy to someone and they're like, oh, this person knows Bashans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because that happened. I mean, for me, for English Cockers too, because I have my English Cocker boy, and so then as I started showing him, and I met a lot of the breeders in the area. And then when they sell dogs in my area, or even online, if they post in the English Cocker group and they go, oh, I live in the Bay Area, where can I get my English Cocker done right? Because nobody seems to know how to do English Cockers right. People always groom them
And
like
they're so
Americans.
easy. They're so
easy. And then they go, oh, Kathleen Austin, she has an English Cocker and she's a master groomer. Go to her salon.
Yeah, people come like all the way from San Diego. They drive hours to be here.
Oh, yeah, we have people that come from really far. And for hand stripping, too. Once I learned how to hand strip, I mean, I get people that drive 3 to 4 hours just to get their dog hand stripped. And it's wild to me. I'm like, there's nobody from here to where you are? That's crazy. But they do. And then they pay my price because they can't find anybody else. And so I get to charge a nice premium for how difficult it is.
You know, if you learn a trim really good too, like really good, you'll start getting the breeders. Like the breeders will bring their dogs to you because there's a lot of some of the best groomers out there are breeders, but also some of the worst.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You ever, like sometimes you go to the dog show and you're like, what the hell is that? What the hell?
I mean, to be fair, right? Like people that become breeders come from all walks of life, right?
Yeah.
So some of them are accountants or some of them are, and so they're doing the best that they can putting a trim on their dog, but that's not their specialty.
They aren't all knowing.
We scissor and
That Bashan,
do all that stuff all day, every day. So like us learning it and then being able to do a good scissor job, like maybe they can put a good shape on their dog, but their scissor work is atrocious. And it's nothing personal. It's just they don't have the experience that we do. We are literally scissoring every day for the last 16 years.
and then an AKC judge is not looking for a good haircut.
No, they're not. While a good haircut can help
Make your dog
look look better, that ultimately they're looking at the dog's structure, not the haircut.
But the first time I went to a dog show, I was so flabbergasted that some of the ones with the worst haircuts were the ones getting the placements. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
wait,
God,
I don't.
yes.
But I understand it's not the most important thing. But like,
It is
shouldn't
important.
they be kind of good at it?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that?
I know. But
It's wild.
They're supposed to
Okay.
be able to look under the hair.
to be fair
Right?
though too, right? Like sometimes like, you know, some breeders have been doing this for a really long time. And I'm watching them groom and I'm like, they're older, you know, and like their hands are, no offense to anybody who's an older breeder, but you know, like you get older and everything just starts to not work as well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't cut your dog.
And also,
I'll
like
help you.
like the good judges, you'll see them put their hands on the dogs. Some of the best looking dogs from outside the ring aren't put together well. They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
presented in a way that looks so good because their grooming is so good. But under the hair, they fall apart. Right?
There are some handlers and even breeders and stuff too that they're just so good at hiding dogs' flaws. They look incredible, and then you're like, oh, maybe I want to breed to that male. And then you're like, oh, can I put my hands on him? And then you're like, oh, never mind. No, thank you.
Well, I think going to the dog shows is probably the really good first step to learning, because it's also one of the cheapest things to go to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's only like what, like
Oh,
$10
absolutely.
sometimes. Sometimes they're free.
Yeah,
Well,
you
most
just
of the
show
time
up
they're
and walk
free.
around. Yeah.
Most of the time they're free. Only like bench
Parking.
shows are parking. That's true. That's a good point. But I mean, I agree that is a great free way for somebody who maybe doesn't have as much money to find a show in your area. And then if you have a breed in particular you're interested in, a lot of times breeders are happy to like have help. I mean, not necessarily during a show because they're busy, but if you go and you meet a couple breeders, oftentimes they have a lot of dogs and they need help with maintenance. So they're happy
Yeah.
to like have you come to their house, help you bathe and blow dry dogs. They'll teach you things. And that's a great way to learn.
But the thing about continuing education too is how it builds you as a groomer,
Absolutely.
confidence wise, right? Like, I never dreamed that I'd be grooming Bichon someday. You
Show
know?
Bashans, not even just her own. She does a lot of other people's show Bashans. It's really cool.
You're going to be the Lindsay Dickon of the West Coast.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
We need it.
But it is fun seeing your work in the ring with someone else too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so much fun, yeah.
You know what sucks though when someone's like, when you give the dog to somebody and they're like, oh well, if the haircut was better and you did the haircut,
Yeah.
you know, that's happened to me once before where the owner was like, oh well, like trying to say under there, backhanded, like, oh, you know, you fucked the haircut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
had
my
that.
dog lost.
The thing is like it's so much more complicated sometimes. Like not always, but it can
Yeah.
be more complicated than you think. I mean, Scotty is my breed. I've bred a litter of Scotties. I show Scotties regularly, and I still am asking my mentor on a regular basis. Like I just went to the Palm Springs dog show, and I was like, I left my furnishings. Can you like show me again for like the millionth time what you would like me to do with these things? Because like it's harder than I thought. I do think some breeds are easier than others. Hand stripping can be so difficult just because you're like growing layers. I thought getting the Scotty that it was going to be the easier hand stripping job than some of the other breeds because they get their cheeks and their ears clippered. And I was like, oh, I don't want to have to do flat work. And they have full furnishings. So like, I won't have to really like do much to them. Turns out it's actually harder because I have to grow all these layers in the furnishings and like make sure they're not poofy. And like, there's all these different things.
You know, I think every person with their breed thinks their breed is harder.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
as the more you learn the nuances of that breed, the more you realize like how much you didn't know.
No, I do agree with that. But like as I've been working with Jeanette and her wire fox, I'm like, oh, I love these tiny little tight cylinder legs. This to me is so like I can see
Yeah.
like what I need to do, but like the long full furnishings and like because at the beginning I was like, oh, I'm doing a great job, and then my breeder was like, your furnishings are wild and they're so poofy, and I was like, what do you mean? You know, and so like there's so many, or I don't always see it with her, with my Scotty, and I'll be like, no, I pulled out so much, and she's like, pull more, pull more, pull more, and then I'm like, help me.
I think with continued education, the thing is like nobody knows all there is to know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, there's there's what 300 dog breeds. There's
Yeah.
no way I'm gonna know everything
And
about
like
all of them.
to think you're like, oh, I know enough to me when someone's like, I know enough, that immediately says to me like, no, you don't,
No.
because if the more you know, what is that? There's like the thing that they say about people that are smart, right? Or that knows stuff about a certain subject. Like the more you know about it, the more you realize you don't actually know about it.
Yeah.
So when you present yourself as like
An
a
expert.
extreme expert in a subject, you're usually like,
Yeah. Well, and I mean, for me, one of the biggest things.
I mean, there obviously is experts and stuff.
No,
so.
there are experts, but we know what you mean. But I would say I want to feel confident that whoever calls my salon, I at least have like a basic understanding of what that dog breed needs. And that's something that we're working towards. But I do love, like, you know, when somebody calls with like a breed that maybe we're not as familiar with, and they are looking for more of a breed cut, we're always honest, right? We'll be like, you know, I would like to learn more about this breed. So if you would work with me and I will like find somebody to help teach us, like, cause that happened to us with the Wheaton. We had somebody contact us about 2 soft-coated Wheaton Terriers, and they're from a really good breeder. I believe they're from Pat Mullen, and she's a really great local Wheaton breeder. And he was like, oh, I don't know, because the one's showing. And, you know, it's a very hard haircut. And we were like, okay, I totally understand that. But if you're interested, can you drop them off at our salon and we'll have Nancy Hahn come do a private lesson with us?
It was pretty awesome.
Because she was the one who was originally grooming them, but she just didn't have enough time anymore. And I was like, if that maybe would work for you. And he was like, oh, that would be awesome. And so that, I mean, we did. We paid her to come down and we gave him a free groom. And she taught Nathan. Well, and
there was a bunch of us here, and it was so cool because our mentor Danica, who's one of the most knowledgeable show people I know,
yeah, and she's a Scotty breeder,
came to see Nancy do the Wheaton because, and that to me solidified like, okay, you're my mentor, and these 2 women are my mentors, but one comes to observe the other one do, because it's just this like circle of learning. Everyone just wants to absorb as much as they can.
Absolutely. Well, and
it's really
Danica's
beautiful.
been breeding for like 30 years. She's a 2nd generation. So the fact that she was like, I want to come and learn the Wheaton trim better. And she's a hand stripper. Like she hand strips. That's her thing. And she was like, I want to learn more about hand scissoring. She came to a Carrie Blue seminar too.
I want to say that I heard a lot of people came to that seminar lesson, and I wasn't invited. I feel like I was
I'm
the
so
only person
sorry.
out of our friend group at the time that didn't come.
No, well, okay, so it was. I'm trying to think.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. From the bottom of my
saying,
heart,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
saying.
It wasn't a real seminar.
But Tony people showed up to watch.
So it was our salon.
I think like 8.
It was just our salon, and then Heather came because she wanted a Wheaton.
Right, the Wheaton.
So I did invite her because she wanted to get a Wheaton at the time. And then Danica I was just talking to, and she was like, "Oh, well, can I come?"
You know,
and so it wasn't on purpose. I do apologize from the bottom of my heart.
I will say though, the Wheaton is the haircut or the trim that I get the most conflicting information from. I mean, from judge to judge. I mean, from grooming competition judge to grooming competition judge to breeder to someone who grooms tons of these dogs. Like the information is totally different.
Well, I would have said no.
Drive out here.
To be honest, I have zero interest learning about the Wheaton.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
It's
there's
freaking hard.
other things I would like to learn more.
Well,
It's really hard.
I competed one time and I only undercut this dog, right? Where you go under the coat and then you trim off the top a little bit because you want that flowy hair. And then my critiques were good, but also I got someone said clip the
It was
throat, and I was
conflicting.
told never ever clip her any place on the dog.
Right, because it can, for anybody who doesn't know, the soft coat and Wheaton Terrier's coat is different than a lot of other breeds. And some people tell you that if you clip their coat, it could potentially act like
It
hand
will go
stripping
hard.
and it will make the coat wiry. I have seen it.
I've seen it look like a really thick Irish Terrier, like a super fat Irish Terrier.
Yeah, it was like a big, and then she was like, no, this is a soft coated Wheaton Terrier, but it's been clipped so many times, it turned bright red and thick and hard.
Thick and short
It was
hairs.
wild.
They showed us
was
a picture
wild.
of it as a puppy and a young dog, and it was a Wheaton.
So after that, I've been freaked out. I don't want to mess up any Wheaton's coat. And I know there are plenty of people who do clipper them and they don't have any problems, but
I heard someone said that the clippers are better now, so they don't pull as much hair, and I was like, that seems like
or
a
maybe
weird
guard
answer,
hairs don't pull as much. I don't know. I know there's lots of people who clipper Wheatons, and that's totally fine. And we do have a couple of pets now that get guard combs because they just don't want to upkeep the care on them. But we're always very cautious and careful because I'd hate to like ruin some Wheaton's coat. And when it comes to like competition or show, we've been taught by purists like do not clipper them. So then we're scared.
Yeah, bringing the purest information though to the show to the competition ring can be hard though because it's so time consuming, you know.
It is, yeah. Well, because if you're hand scissoring your flat work on your neck and your cheeks and stuff, that takes
Yeah, I'm there
a
for
lot
like
of
45
time.
minutes, just like scissoring the neck in, like
And the ears,
and all the
and they're
flat
like,
work
just
super
clipper
tight.
it, and we're like, I'm scared.
I'm like, wait, no, this breeder told me do not
Well,
do that.
especially the Wheaton
I'd
that
rather
you-
take the L than fucking piss off the
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
piss off the breeder.
the Wheaton that you did bring was the show Wheaton, so it was like, nope, can't clipper this. So
Yeah.
sorry. But I mean, the main point of this whole tangent was I want to be confident in every dog breed that comes in. But I do think something that's important when we do get, I mean, even your average everyday dog breeders, I can't tell you how, or dog breeds. I mean, like just your random dogs will come in, and I love just looking up the breed standard and reading through it and like feeling over the dog I'm working on. You know, because we'll be like, oh, this dog looks like it might be like somewhat well bred, and you know, and then we'll like look up we've done that with Pomeranians, we've done that with like Dachshunds. I mean, like just because I find it so interesting, and I think the more that you know about the breed standard and you can like look at the dog on your table, the better job you can do.
Breed standards are available online for free as well.
Absolutely, we have books, but most of the time I do just look it up online. I'll just put like.
Pomeranian AKC standard.
Yeah, Pomeranian
That's-
AKC standard, and then I'll read through the whole breed standard.
You do have to have like a certain level of dog language competence to
Yes.
understand the breed standard though.
But that's where
So there is like that like
yeah,
gate. Like you have to have this basic information of naming of the body parts and
right. But that's where regular continued education can help you with that. But that's like one of our favorite things to do in the salon. I'm like your I read everything out loud to everybody.
yeah.
So
nice.
like I feel like that's like my official job in the salon is all, you know, everybody will be like, read it out loud. Or like a news article will come up on my phone that everybody's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then like as I'm grooming, I'll like take 5 minutes to like read this article to everybody. It's very
She needs to
fun.
get her words in, you know.
Yeah.
You mean Kathleen likes to talk?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
I don't see it.
But you know, the thing about continued education is the ease of learning it nowadays, right? There's,
there's
so
so-
many opportunities. There's online, there's books, there's you can find someone locally to mentor you. It's just so easy nowadays.
Yeah, it's all there at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think online is really helpful because not everybody's able to travel. While I do think like going to the trade shows, going to the dog shows.
Online is so easy because it is at your fingertips, right? And if you're like more rural, right, there's not an excuse, right? You can learn online. Yes, you're not getting the hands-on,
Right.
but you can learn breed
can
cuts
still, yeah.
or even they're not even only breed cuts. There's creative and there's
Well, there's-
doodles and Asian fusion and
That's something that always surprises me. Like there's so many classes on doodles and I'm always like, I did doodles all day. I don't need help doing doodles. But I will say like a lot of times I'll like see the photos and I'm like, damn, that is a really cute face.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, those legs are really cute. Because like I feel like most of the doodle grooms that we do at our salon are fairly basic. And I do think I'd like to learn some of the cuter things. I just don't know if our clients can keep up on them.
no.
I have been warming up more. Like I feel like I was really like the doodle, like just it's like you just gotta accept it, you know?
Yeah.
They're cute and I love them. You just gotta accept them.
It's not their fault that they're, that breeders are taking advantage of like breeding them and greeters and bad breeding. And
Oh, the other day, I don't want to come off on this tangent again, but I seen something so terrible.
But let me talk about it.
I seen a freaking Shar-Pei German Shepherd.
Oh,
like,
no.
what the hell is it?
Oh,
what-
no.
like who's doing that?
Well-
Who? It had to have been an accident. There's no way someone purposely
No,
bred
somebody
a
did. Yeah,
Shar-Pei and a
somebody-
German
My
Shepherd.
dog is so cute. Your dog is so cute. Let's have them have babies.
Well, so the
Idiots.
thing that, and we'll get into it more in another episode, but the thing that people don't think about is often when people are breeding two separate breeds together, they're not the best representation of even their breed.
Yeah.
So then you're getting dogs that already have like health issues or personality issues or
Built
or whatever.
not structurally sound.
Right, not structurally sound, and then they're breeding them to other dogs that also are not good representations of their breed, and then getting like even worse. So yeah, it's a whole thing. We'll talk about it. But
We get clients coming in with their like 1-year-old puppy with the restrictive harness, you know, and then they're like, "This dad was a poodle, and it's the most straight front sway back poodle you've ever seen, and the lab is like some super overweight lab, and you're like, this dog, like, well, how come my dog is weird and it doesn't walk right?" You're like, well, I mean,
multiple things,
yeah.
but also that harness ain't
That harness is
helping.
not helping. Yeah.
No.
Have you seen the results of keeping those on your puppy and like wearing them on it? Yeah.
Every
Time
yeah.
someone comes in with a restrictive harness, I always tell them,
And they leave it on all day.
Yeah.
do not leave the
take
puppy.
it off.
Just teach your dog how to. But I think a lot.
My
the
dogs don't
funny
even
thing
wear
is, I tell
collars.
people that, and everyone I've told, they've been really positive to the information and they listen. But it's the people at like Petco or PetSmart that's just selling it to them that don't know those things.
Or
Right?
just
It's
don't
like, hey,
even
guys,
care.
I've actually been thinking about going to local pet stores and telling people like, hey, like if you have puppies, because they don't know, right? They're just new employees at this place. Like, but if you have a puppy, don't recommend these restrictive upfront collars that pinch the shoulders or pinch the lower arms.
Into the
in.
body, yeah.
I remember when I was at PetSmart on the floor, and you would try to sell pet training classes, and it's like, oh, you can buy this class for $120. And they're like, oh, I can't really afford that. It's like, okay, well, there's this Halti lead over here that's only $30, and they're like, got it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
Yeah.
the cheaper alternative.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since, like, obviously since we've worked in that kind of environment. So I wonder how it's changed, because I do feel like dog ownership has changed as well over the last 16 years. Because I feel like and it could have just been where we worked as well, but I do feel like people were, not as much like my dogs are my babies. And now very much so, everybody brings their dogs everywhere with them. Everybody's like, this is my child. And so I wonder if that has changed then to where people are putting a lot more money into all of these extra things, because instead of having kids, we're having dogs.
Right.
And so I do wonder if that's changed at all. Or, I
I
mean,
hope so.
I think-
I'm sure there's still plenty of cheap asses out there,
know-
but I'd like to think there's a lot more people putting more time and effort.
I think we should ask the audience something, right? Is like, I think we have a lot of younger groomers, and I would like to hear from the younger groomers their thoughts on continued education. Like, and maybe ask us some questions like, why do you think you liked it, or why are you hesitant to do it?
Right,
because
yeah.
I'd like to answer those questions because I want to get them into it, right?
Yeah, we want to help as much as we can.
And to go over, where would people begin, right? There's so many options, right? There's the online, and there's the trade shows and seminars and doing private lessons and all that stuff.
Which are all a good path, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, absolutely. Look for private events in your area too. There's lots of teachers traveling now to different salons. If you're a salon owner and you want to host somebody, look
Like
it up.
myself and Katie.
Yes.
I also think you should not be afraid to ask people who you want to learn from. Like, I never thought that I would be teaching anything. And I've had
Yeah.
a few people ask me like, hey, do you do private lessons?
Awesome.
And I was like, sure, and
Yeah.
I've done a few, and it was fun. So don't be afraid to ask people, because they'll probably say yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid to ask people. And don't be afraid to ask people what their credentials are. Like, you're
Right.
double master certified. And I definitely think that it's important that you look for somebody who can do what you're looking for. Like, if you're,
you gotta take care of your due diligence, because there's well, I'm just gonna say it is there's some teachers out there, or quote unquote teachers, that are just out there teaching a bunch of bullshit.
Quote unquote.
You know,
Yes.
there's
Not
no
all
like
teachers are
thing that
equal.
makes you a teacher or makes you or not. It's just if you're educating somebody, then you're a teacher. So
If you have a lot of followers, doesn't make you a teacher.
yeah, I've
Absolutely.
seen some whooped ass haircuts that the before and after look like they didn't even touch it with scissors. And maybe it's my eye is better, so I look at it and I'm like, well, that fucking sucks, or what. But just be careful, make sure. Or if you're a baby groomer, who knows? This person might actually be teaching you.
Yeah.
But I think 99% of the people out there teaching are good. But just make sure and do your due diligence.
yeah,
For sure.
And then finding someone who knows what you want to learn.
absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to have somebody come out and do a breed. You're like, oh, come teach me hand stripping. And they don't know anything about hand stripping.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
they're a scissor person or something.
Yeah,
you know?
like me and Katie can go out and teach most groomers a lot of good information, but I can't have me and Katie come teach me. So I need like a PINA.
Right.
or a Ann Martin or a
Lindsay.
Lindsay Dickens, right? I need that level of teacher
Mm-hmm.
to be educate me. But so
Yes.
make sure you're finding what you need.
Yeah. But there's lots of options out there. Lots of options.
Yeah.
Now let's get
Let's
deep.
get
You
deep.
want to get deep?
Okay.
Yeah,
It's me.
who's
It's
got
me.
the first one?
Okay. I had the first one.
Oh, where'd they want to go?
Let's get deep.
think they're both-
Did you go to your prom and or prom weekend? What was it like?
Okay.
Prom weekend, eh?
I went to
Oh,
two
yeah, prom
proms.
weekend. Jeez.
The first one I went to, I was a sophomore, and I went to a seniors prom.
A sophomore.
Sophomore?
I was a.
Soft.
That's not how you say it.
No.
Soft.
Soft.
SOPH.
Well, you know I didn't graduate, right? So,
Oh, okay.
But
Damn,
you went
guys.
to prom.
yeah.
But yeah, for those people that don't know,
You went to 3 proms.
I went to 3 proms as a sophomore.
for those of you who don't know, Nathan,
But
did
you know,
not
it was pretty
graduate.
baller. You know, I felt so cool because I was the little guy at the senior prom. I think the senior that took me thought it was gonna be cool, and then like as we started dating, she's like,
Fucking
maybe
loser.
this isn't as cool as I thought.
I'm
I was just like a horny like 15-year-old or something, you know, and she's like she was coming on to be an adult, so it didn't last long.
I'm just laughing at you calling yourself the little guy. Like,
Oh.
Yeah. Well, that girl actually, her
That
name is
woman.
her name is Christina, and she freaking broke my heart, dude. Yeah, like super bad. I was homeless at the time, and she's like was my world because I was homeless, and it was embarrassing, like that life I was living.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at a Motel 6. My mom had got a room for the weekend, and
Prom weekend.
she had came. No, it was a different week, but she had come. This is when she broke up with me. She'd come. I invited her over, and I had like lit candles in the room.
oh my god, you're putting
room-
on
And
the
she
mood.
came,
Has
and she
he ever done
came
that for you?
in my mom's hotel room, right? So like, oh god, I was so lame. So she comes and then she breaks up with me, and I literally on my hands and knees begging her not to leave me because I was so sad, crying I've cried like that since, but I cried so hard. And after when she left, I remember thinking like, I will never let a woman do that to me again, and it turned me into a fucking monster. Because so.
For
I
a
didn't-
while.
Yeah, for a
For
while.
a
So then I
while.
went on this little rampage. And
Okay.
I also went to a prom as a senior. I went to a sophomore prom. So
As a senior,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
so-
like, were you?
because weren't you already dropped out by then?
yeah, so that was like that was maybe I'll leave that part out now. No, but she was my girlfriend for like and I
Wait,
went
they
to
had a sophomore prom?
no, she was okay. Maybe I gotta go back. No, it was a junior prom.
Oh, junior prom. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we had junior prom. at
Yeah, it was junior prom. And
Your prom separate?
We had like a junior prom, and then there was like the big senior prom.
Oh, ours was
Like a
just
senior
prom
ball.
and juniors and seniors.
And both of our
Oh, no.
proms were in San Francisco in these big, beautiful buildings. It was really cool.
I thought you said 3. That was 2.
No, it was 2.
Oh.
I didn't go to my
just
own.
exaggerating.
I went to the one as the younger guy, and then I went to the one as the older, creepy guy.
Oh. Okay. Well, Juan, you're the second oldest, so.
I went to both my proms, junior and senior year, and it was really fun. I like Nathan, I had a senior ask me to freshman winter ball.
Ooh.
So it
Oh my
wasn't a prom, but I was also
Somebody
crazy.
call the cops.
And that was really fun. I think that was more fun than mine. 'Cause
Was it a man or a woman?
It was a woman. I
nice.
was straight in high school. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I was
that.
Straight or secret gay?
Well,
I
secret
was
gay.
secret gay. Yeah, I was. I had girlfriends all through like middle school and high school.
Gosh.
Freshman
Okay,
year
wait.
of college.
What base did you get to?
3rd.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I never wanted to get to the 4th. But yeah. I touched it here and there, but nothing else.
You're like,
Not for me. What about you, Kat?
Why are we going old?
We're going in age because that's how long ago it was. I don't know.
So I went to my senior prom and I wasn't planning on going, but I actually had a coworker from another school who was like a prom like jumper. She just went to like everyone's prom. She's like, let's go to prom. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I want to go to your prom. I'm like, okay.
Were you glad you went?
Yeah, it was fun. But you know what made it really special is like Michelle and the rest of the salon got money together to have my hair done and my makeup done professionally.
That's
and
so
I felt like a
sweet.
princess, you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so
And
sweet.
so, because I was working at PetSmart at the
Right.
time, and the girl who wanted to go to my prom and kind of made me go, she was a cashier. So
What color was your dress?
it was like a lavender color.
Aw.
And yeah, I got it at like the cheapest one I could find. I paid like
She got
80
it at Ross.
No, I went
Dee Dee's
to
discounts.
no, it was that little.
Oh my God, Dee Dee.
That little store that sells like wedding dresses and stuff, like a little angel
Little
or something.
Angels.
Yeah, I got it there for like $80 or something like that. But
Nice.
yeah, I had fun. It was a good time, and
Nice.
but I was always like more reserved, and it was just a lot. But I bought these like really high sparkly shoes.
Nice.
Yeah, I
One for 10
walked
minutes?
into the building and took them off immediately. I was like, I can't do this. No.
You know, you bring up Dee Dee's discount, and I'm actually really like surprised about them and impressed because every time I go in there, they have the same shirts. I'm like, how do they have the same bandana print shirt for the last 15 years on the rack? You know what I mean? I'm like, this.
How?
At least
If
they're
it ain't broke,
consistent.
don't fix it.
They're consistent. yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Katie.
Okay, so I did go to my junior and my senior prom. The junior prom was just at the high school, so it wasn't really anything special. But I didn't like really ever get asked to dances. So like I just went with like a bunch of girls, typical, right? And I mean that one was fine. It was just your regular school dance. I feel like they just said it was like junior prom. But then senior prom, I did have a boyfriend at the time, so I did take him. He was a year younger. And we like did the whole group thing. So we had like a stretch, like Hummer limo. I think it
A
was
Hummer limo.
I think it was the
Oh my
Hummer.
God.
We went big.
Damn.
And
You got money.
yeah. And we like went to like Hard Rock Cafe before, and then we went
The
and it
fancy
was
restaurant.
yeah, well, because
Yeah.
it was in San Francisco. Yeah, it was it felt really fancy at the time. Now I'm like, ooh. But no, it was a lot of fun. Same thing. I got like these super high. I remember I kept them for a while after that. They were Playboy bunny high heels.
Ooh.
I can't believe my
Scandalous.
parents
Damn.
let me get it. But I
Hugh?
remember because I
Was
had
that your partner, Hugh?
I have this like photo of me and my dad, and they were so high, the high heels. He's like 6 foot. And I was like the same height as him. I looked like the Jolly Green Giant because my dress was like emerald green.
I love that
And I'll have to find it because they did
Let's
look
post.
cute.
We should find photos of
Oh,
all our things
yeah,
and post
of all
them
our
on the
proms.
post them on the thing.
You have like a Polaroid, I feel like somewhere because
I have one of yeah.
of you at the junior,
junior
prom,
prom,
or
yeah.
whatever. Because that's like Nathan had. If anybody, I mean, most people wouldn't know, but Nathan has like barely any photos from his youth because of being homeless and whatnot. So
I
whenever
actually-
we find them, we're like, oh my God,
A
look.
couple months ago, it was weird. Somebody called me and they came in, and it was like this girl I knew in elementary school, and she had pictures of me as a kid. And these are literally the only pictures I have of me as a kid.
Yeah,
Aw.
she like just
Yeah.
stopped by one day and was like, look what I found, Nathan.
So
Here
like
you
I'm
go.
just working, grooming probably a doodle, and then next thing you know, this woman's in here and I'm crying, hugging this lady I barely know, but it was pretty cool.
Oh, you know what I forgot though about my prom? I was just thinking about it. I don't know how coincidentally there was like a cancer walk or something. It was like one of those like overnight cancer walks on the same thing that like my mom had been helping organize, but it was like the same day. So my parents and my little brother went and spent the night at this like cancer walk thing. And they let me bring everybody back to my house to party.
Wow.
So we were the
Dang.
party house and everybody slept over.
So you had the weekend.
I
None of-
did,
none of the
yeah, I
rest
guess
of
had
the
the prom
I
weekend.
did.
And,
I did.
When she talks about like her this boyfriend that she had, like I want to really not like him, but he was really nice to her.
He was really nice.
He was really sweet and stuff, and I'm like,
I mean, you want to thank him.
yeah, I want to thank
You
him.
respected her.
Yeah, he was really, really nice. He was a really nice guy. He just wasn't right for me, but he was
Was
a
he
really
gay?
nice guy. I don't think so. I think he's married now to a woman. I don't know. I don't really keep track.
What was
but
his name?
Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas, for treating her good.
I doubt he's watching this.
What?
I broke his heart. So how you said that you begged and cried, that's what happened when I broke up with him. Oh my God. So
Women
I feel
are
really
terrible.
bad about it.
That's the story here. Is
I've
women
done
are
that
terrible.
too.
It wasn't on purpose, but I just wasn't in love with him anymore. So
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Well, better than to
I
string him
had-
along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to
Well,
rip off the Band-Aid.
did I talk about that? How then I went to jail and I got out and I met her? Did I bring that up in a previous show?
No.
Oh well, I go to jail a couple years later, or a year later, and I come out, and it transformed me. Right, like I was 18 years old, just go to jail, and I'm surrounded by scary men. I was in the part of the jail where the more dangerous people were. So when I got out, like all these people that I was scared of and girls I was scared of before were nothing. Like it didn't bother me at all. So I had this air of confidence. I was thinking about jail. It just makes you a better criminal usually. So I meet her, or she's like around or something, and she's like, I could tell she's like, oh, he's so different. She kept saying like, oh, you're so different. You're so confident. Like, and I'm like, yeah, you want to go out sometime? She's like, oh yeah, I'd love to. Ghosted her.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking ghosted her.
Yeah.
But it was so good to see her. Like, I knew she wanted me, and then to
Bad
be
boy.
like, it's total dick move, but it just felt
She
so
deserved
good.
it.
Yeah.
Well, now you feel bad, right?
No.
No.
No,
Oh,
she
like
I.
that's rare for Nathan. Nathan's usually like the guilty party. Like he always feels really bad about treating people badly.
No, because like the way it went down, like I was just so in love with her. Like I really wasn't, but since all the things that were going around, like it was such deep pain, you know. Like
Well, when
I don't
you're
want
a
to talk about it
kid,
no more.
everything like when you're a teenager and like you have those hormones, everything's life or
Oh,
death.
yeah.
Everything's life or death. So
Yeah.
it definitely just seems like you're dying. Like
I do always think it's, you know, when adults will tell younger kids like, oh, or teenagers
know
like, you don't
what
know
love
what
is.
love is. I'm like, I think when you're a teenager, you are feeling, if that's not love, I don't, like the emotions are so intense.
Like it's yeah.
How is that
obviously,
not?
it's
You know,
not.
even though it's like not based in, it's based more in lust, right? Or like just,
or hormones or whatever. But
the emotions are there.
Yeah.
But to tell them they don't really know, I mean, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel 100% in love. So I hope that we hold on to that as our kids are starting to get to that age.
Oh.
That we don't forget what it's like to have those big, big feelings that you just can't. I mean, I remember just thinking like, I'm going to be with this person forever. I'm going to die if I'm not, you know, like, and that you really feel that way. You really do feel that way.
Yeah.
Cat.
I never
Except for
have.
Cat. You don't feel that way about me, Cat?
Okay, well, Juan,
Rude.
have you been torn up before?
I have. Yeah. I was very anti guys for a while. I was single maybe for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Ronnie walked into PetSmart, and then it's changed everything. But yeah, I was very happy being alone. I was like heartbroken for like a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck guys, I don't need guys. And I was just hanging out with all my friends and going out and drinking and like flirting and all that stuff, but nothing ever serious. And I was very happy being alone. And then I met Ronnie, and then that changed that.
Yeah. If you're brokenhearted out there, it'll get better. You know what I mean?
It does.
Afterwards, I mean, it took a lot of years, but then I found the love of my life. He found the love of his life.
And there's me.
Cat loves herself. But you know what I mean? Just keep looking for it.
Single
It'll
for
come.
life.
You know, it'll keep coming.
Yeah. I feel like I've not been that heartbroken before.
Well, you broke that heart.
I broke hearts.
Tommy's
yeah.
heart.
I broke
Well,
it.
you're
I
lucky.
mean, okay, I did. I mean, like, I definitely had like guys that I like thought I like loved or what, but I feel like surprisingly, I did not have that many like boyfriends or anything. I only had like a couple of boyfriends. Guys didn't ever really ask me out.
Well, they're probably intimidated by you.
I always had crushes. I had like 5 million crushes. It changed like every month. I swear. Kat, I'm sure can attest to it. I was very boy crazy, but I rarely actually ever dated anybody,
Well,
and
see,
I rarely got asked out.
You were in school. I remember you telling me when you were in school, you were a size 0 of double D's. So like, that would have scared the shit out of me.
They were D's. They weren't double D's until
Oh,
I
I'm
had
sorry.
kids.
But I would have been.
You still
like,
had tickle bitties.
I would have walked up to you and been like, and then like,
I mean, like, I don't think anybody I went to high school would even like deem to watch something like this. But I swear, like, guys in high school just didn't find me interesting. I think I was too weird. I was like really weird. I was like, I'm
okay,
awkward
when does
weird
it start
and
to be a negative?
I don't know.
When do you say something that's negative? I don't get it.
I'm weird. I talk too much. I say too much. I share too much. I'm just a lot. I'm a lot, and I think for high school, I was just too much for people. I'm a lot.
Just trauma dump on every boy that walks up to you.
Yeah. I tell
like, wow.
everybody my like whole life story on a regular. That's just who I am. I'm a sharer. I'm an oversharer. If you don't
Thanks,
like
ADHD.
oversharing, if you don't like oversharing, I'm not the person for you. I will
Same.
tell you everything. Nothing is private in my life.
Sometimes I feel like I always say way too much, and then I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Oh well, that's who I am. I'm not ashamed of any of it. It was just too much info. But
That's one thing I'm really happy about being older is like I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Yes.
Or if I do something dumb, I can think like, oh, my life's not over. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
I fall onto that a lot actually. It is what it is. I wonder if it's
That's
gonna crush me
Nathan's, yeah.
eventually. But
what I go to is nothing really matters.
No.
And then I get really sad for a little bit because I'm like, oh shit, what's the point of life? But then if you think about it, it's like, well, nothing really, it's only what you think about yourself matters. And if you surround yourself with your friends and like people you love, that's literally all that should count, you know? Like, who cares about anything
Yeah,
else?
I freaked my son out a little bit because I was like just trying to show him that not to be embarrassed. So I looked at him and I told him, Owen, everyone around us is NPCs. Watch this. We're at Disneyland or something. And I walk up to
Jesus.
someone and I just say some like, I forget what I said. I think I was just speaking gibberish. And then they're looking at me and I'm like, yeah, you know. And they go, just shake their head, you know. And then I look back at Owen and I'm like, see?
Yeah.
Like nothing matters.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know he did that. So.
I
But
didn't know
Owen's,
either. and we
Owen's
go to
looking at me
Disneyland.
like, what the heck, you know? But I was trying to get him to dance with Mickey Mouse
Oh yeah.
because he stopped dancing with Mickey Mouse. He started to be scared.
Well, he started to be like, yeah, get embarrassed, self-conscious.
What's the next?
Okay, but I was just gonna say, the older I get, I do agree, the less I care. I used to care a lot, and I used to like have to be perfect and like not ever embarrass myself, and I was always freaked out. And I'm like, whatever, who fucking cares? If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Fuck it.
I still dwell on the past. Traumatized by things that happened 5 years ago.
Oh, well, I definitely
that too.
I definitely dwell on things, but just I'm more myself, and I don't worry if somebody's gonna. I still worry a little bit if people are gonna like me, but not as much as I once did.
I'm a big people pleaser, so.
Me too. Yeah. I'm letting go. I'm starting to let go.
I don't give a shit.
Ronnie
Yeah.
don't give a shit about nothing.
Yeah, Ronnie does not give a fuck.
All
That's
right.
why we love him so much.
Yes. Okay. Next question.
Deeper.
This is the last
Yeah,
question,
this
right?
one's-
Last one.
This is the last one,
The
but
last
this
one.
is deeper. The other
This
one
is
was
deeper. That was deep.
Oh,
This
that was
is
just deep.
deeper. When asked how many sexual partners you've had, what do you say?
Oh, what do you say? I read it wrong the
Oh.
first time.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you say, and then what's the truth? Is that
I
what
guess.
we're
Yeah,
saying?
we'll do both, I guess. Who
Okay.
wants to
All right,
start?
who's going first?
I'll go first. I always say the truth, and it's 3. I only have relations with people I'm in relationships with.
Nice.
So that was just 3. I'm so innocent.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
For a gay guy to only have, I mean, I'm 36. For a gay guy to only have 3 sexual partners,
Yeah.
that's like low.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a point where you're like, oh, it's only 3, like you're lame or something?
I-
you feel that way?
I feel that way a
I-
lot. Yeah.
I do think if I was gay, I would be in the hundreds probably. Like
I mean, most are.
I'm trying to speak in a way that is not crude or whatever, right? But my
Libido.
is
that
is high.
very
so like,
high.
I would probably. Oh God, I don't want to think about it no more.
Yeah. Anyway,
You don't want to think about being gay anymore?
Well, I mean,
he doesn't want to think about how many
He's like,
sexual
oh my God, am I
partners.
getting turned on right
I've
now?
heard people say like it's just so easy too. Like it's so easy just
Yeah.
to like.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, because guys in general have a higher libido. So get 2 guys together, and it's just.
Yeah.
I always tell the truth too, but my number is even though I only have 2. So
We're so pure. Oh my God.
we're so
Puritans.
modest. No, I'm just kidding.
Puritans.
No, but really, I mean, I felt similarly where I feel like I have to be really connected to the person I'm with, and I was always too scared to like do anything with somebody that I didn't feel comfortable bearing myself to, in both emotionally and physically. So for me, it was only ever 2. So
I think nowadays it's more acceptable, right,
I
for
do think
women and like
it's-
people just to be more like
I
open.
do, yeah, I do think it's more acceptable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having as many sexual partners as you want. It was just for me personally, I never felt comfortable enough. But I'm also really proud of that because not proud of like having a low number, but proud of never letting myself be pressured into doing something I didn't feel comfortable with. I only had sex for the first time when I truly felt comfortable enough with the boyfriend that I had to do that, and I felt safe and comfortable. And because of that, I felt like I had more good sexual experiences because I never felt pressured or put in a position that I was not happy with.
Yeah.
So
So I'm 3, and
We're so pure.
But I wouldn't say like I was in relationships with 2 of them. The other one was kind of
for funsies.
for funsies or like an experiment or so.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
But I just don't seem to make a lot of personal connections real easy. So I think that's part of it, But
So you also need that connection.
I need
before.
a connection, before, except for that one, but yeah, it didn't work out.
Well, she hasn't done.
I mean,
it
it proved
again
your point,
since.
right?
Yeah,
It proved your point.
Yeah. So, but
I do think
happy
that's
with,
interesting.
I'm happy with myself.
Yeah,
Oh, like,
I do wonder, like, if more people are waiting, like having personal connections, or just it feels great, so I'm doing it, which is fine either way. But I am curious, like, what's the percentage?
Yeah.
Because Nathan, I think, is our outlier of our
Yeah.
little pack.
Yeah, well, I'm not like
And Ronnie.
I was pretty like out there, like
We don't
you
talk
know,
about Ronnie like
Like I said, after my heart was broken, I was on a mission to like do the same. But it turns out I cannot do that. Like if I have relations with somebody, I like immediately catch feelings, even if I don't want to. It's just that physical being close, like I get emotional and I get like attached. So I mean, I think I don't even know how many. Like it's not a ton. It's not a ton. It's more than 15, probably less than 20, for sure. Somewhere around there. So it's not like a whole ton.
We've tried to count before, and then like
It just gets
he
weird.
Always,
It gets
he
weird.
starts to like forget things. He'll be like, I don't know. Like, did I? Did I
we
not?
just
There
think
was a
about
big
it?
blur
Did that
because there
count?
was a lot of
Other
like,
things.
drug use and a lot of like, because once I if I could give, no, I don't want to give old me advice because it would make it even easier. But like, it's crazy how like when you just all of a sudden become confident and just like pursue, how receptive people are. How receptive, for me at least, women could be. Like I would just go like, hey, like.
Want to
You
go?
want to meet up and like do this just as somebody was an acquaintance, and most of the time they're like, yeah. So so maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels weird talking about it because now I could never imagine doing anyone else or being with anyone else
Well,
but my wife.
I was gonna say you're 16 years into one person at this point. So
Yeah.
Good thing it's good, huh?
I just want a cream pie. I just want a cream pie and make podcasts with the same woman
Oh
forever.
my God. You want to bake, Nathan? You want to go bake?
You love baking.
Yeah, let's make some cream pies.
Danishes.
But I mean, how
it's-
do you get around this question without being a little like it
Right.
is what it is? But I think
do
it should
think-
be something that people can talk about, right? It's not like
Yeah.
taboo.
No.
Everyone-
Well, and I don't think we're being explicit, but I do think that there's something to be said for being in a committed relationship and being with the same person, because you start to feel more comfortable asking for exactly what you want. So there's no like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would say from the beginning of a relationship to now, way better. And it was good from the start, but like way better, because now we don't feel like uncomfortable asking for anything. So any thought that we're like, want to try that? It's not like, oh my God, you're so weird. We're like,
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but you're pulling it out of me. But after like 15 years of us being together, I was finally like curious enough to be like, I want to try the exit for me, right? And and I was like, I'm comfortable with myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm a man. Like I'm not like I'm with my wife, my woman. So like there's nothing weird about it. Turns out, not a fan. You know,
he hated it.
hated
He
it.
I
hated
think you
it.
did it wrong. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
maybe.
Well, then we went to a
Maybe.
store, right? We went to a store to like find like things
Something that would work.
to lead up, maybe. Mm-hmm. And this
Well, yeah, because I was
lady,
like, well, maybe yeah, exactly.
this
I was
lady
like,
starts pulling out all this stuff, and she's like, all this numbing creams and all these like expandable thing, and I'm like, no.
Maybe not.
then he
It was just
like,
at
this
that
is
point it
not
was
for
too
me.
much. I was like, I told Katie, I was like, we just gotta leave, because she's like, just you're a man, don't with your wife, don't be embarrassed. And I'm like, the more she's talking about it and showing me these
These
weapons, I can't describe it any other way. But like, I'm like, I have to leave, And then so we left, and
Did she pull out this one?
the hand no. But she brought me this like set of 10 that progressively get bigger, like a blade,
dilator.
like a blade shave chart. First you start at the 1 millimeter, and then you work your way up to the 10. And I was like, pass.
No, she tried to give you like a bigger one to start, and then she was like, "No, this is like the normal one." And then I was like, "Oh, well, they have like, like this one
Training
that's like a
these.
Yeah, and
training
then
one."
Katie can sense that I'm like not enjoying this, and she gets in on
Oh,
it.
yeah,
She's
of
like, Nathan,
course.
how about this one? And I'm like, oh my God, just
I'm all, but there's numbing cream.
Look how
Nathan.
vascular this one looks.
What about the numbing cream? You won't even know. We did leave with the numbing cream. Just not for Nathan.
It's not for Nathan.
Yeah, thanks to whoever that lady was, because she helped us out with that on that end.
Salesperson.
Literally.
Should we end?
On that note, let's exit. Get it? Because of the exit. No.
Thank you for tuning in to another grooming podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and rate and follow us on all the platforms. We're on everything.
Everything.
Everything. You can watch our
Everything.
faces and genuine reactions on YouTube. And we hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I feel weird now.
Yeah. Same.
Did we really just talk about that?
I know. Well, that's okay. Like I said, I mean,
Well, I also know my parents watch
I
this.
thought it was funny, though. I thought
Yeah.
it was funny.